Hey, what's up guys? It's David back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about my 2002 Acura RSX Type S and the start to finish from it, and basically what happened and why I am where I am today and I haven't been posting. So let's get into it. I just wanted to give y'all the first clip, the beginning, the middle, and the end. I know it's a lot to kind of take in, and it was for me, but let's just walk through me buying the car, rebuilding the car, and then obviously watching the car burn down. It all started with me wanting to get another RSX, specifically a RSX Type S 6-speed manual, and so I did that. I went and saw this RSX. I was like, man, I want to buy this thing. This is a good decision for me. It's my dream car, you know. It in my eyes, there was no other choice. So me and my fiance at the time, now my wife, decided that we were going to put our money together and buy this car because she would do anything to make me happy. So we go buy this car, and about 2 weeks later, the engine starts knocking with me driving her around in the car. And that alone really sucked, but I was like, stuff happens. Let's not get beat up about it. Just is what it is. So obviously, like I said, me and her kind of like got all of our money in that car. So I was like, I want to fix this thing. I want to get things right. So I just start working a bunch. So, times go by. I still don't have enough money to fix this car. So me and my dad just decide that we're going to start taking apart the engine, cleaning everything, doing stuff that's free. So we start doing all of that. My dad, like I said, he helped me through this whole process. And we get everything at his shop. I'm clean over there every day, cleaning. And like I said, I just didn't have the money. And it just took me from, say, April 2022, I think the motor blew up. And I didn't even get the car built and running. I don't even think it ran till the end of December 2022. And it was really tough to see that I couldn't get the car running. And whenever we finally got to that point, to crank it up for the first time, I think it was a few days or a week before Christmas, go to crank it up and it doesn't crank. And then we have to take everything back apart and do it all over again. And then put everything back together, go to crank it up. It starts for half a second and then turns right back off. And then, all these thoughts are just going through my head like, why am I doing this? And then I was just like, whatever. It is what it is. Let's just roll with it. So we finally get the car running, like, after the third or fourth time, taking it back apart and putting it back together. And it wound up being the piston rings would not seat and it wouldn't build compression. So I finally have my dream car fully built, running. And I'm going to car meets. Me and my wife, she's taking the base model. And we are going to car meets together. We're bringing our dogs to car meets. We're just having a blast, hanging out with our friends. Just doing anything that a normal car guy would. I was driving it all the time. I'd take it to work almost every day just because I love driving the car. I was putting in the hours at work. I was making my money. I was being a kid, making stupid decisions. Even though I had my car running, I still went out and bought a motorcycle. I just was making really stupid financial decisions, owning like 3, 4, 5 cars within months of each other. And I was seeking pleasure in the wrong places. And I knew that I loved this car because of the memories. I didn't realize it was mostly about the memories that I had. There was nothing about that car specifically. It was my first manual. It was the first car that me and my dad built together from scratch, basically. And there was just really so much emotional value and baggage on that car that I couldn't get back. And looking back at it now, there's nothing that I can do, obviously. It's gone. But I'll always have the memories with my dad. You see in this footage, there's me working on it. There's my dad working on it. And it's just something that I'll never forget. I'll tell my kids about. Getting this car running was not the hardest thing in the world, obviously. People have harder times, but it was my first time, so it was difficult. It was hard to go through and problem solve and do all this stuff, but we got it done. The day that we got everything done, I was just so happy, and I couldn't stop taking videos and looking at the car, and even though it wasn't much to look at from the outside, I knew what it had on the inside with a fully built motor and everything, all the hours that we had put into this car. The worst thing about it is, like I said, we got this car built in December 2022, but this thing had issues on issues on issues on issues. Like, I barely got to drive the car probably from March to June, and between those, it only probably ran for a total month or two. Like, it didn't really run all the time. It was always on the trailer. It was always a joke that, oh, David's car is always on the trailer. It's probably been on the trailer, and we haven't even had it that long. Like, it's been on there the most. And it was true. It really was. I was having problems with the car getting it to start. I was having problems with fuel. I was having problems with coil packs going out. I had problems with my spark plugs. I was just having every single problem that you can have. And partially that's my fault. I let the car sit for so long. It sit for over 6 months just in my uncle's yard. And that's my fault, and I take responsibility for that, but it just sucks because the potential that was there, and you're going through and like, man, I put all this money into this and this and this, and then you have cam sensors go bad and crank sensors go bad, and then your fuel pump goes out. You just have all these problems, and it makes you kind of second guess everything. With that, it just brought on more and more memories, yes, but more and more pain. Kind of, I'm so tired of this car, but at the end of the day, I knew I didn't want to sell it because it's still my dream car at the end of the day. And I was happy. You can see how happy I was. But, with every other car, it's just never enough. And I hate to see what happened to this car, and what I went through wasn't so bad. Like I said, I'm not worried about the money. I'm not worried about the car itself. It did suck at the time. Yeah, I was upset. Yeah, I cried. I cried not because of the money, though. I cried because of how much effort me and my dad had put together to get this car completely running right. Going through months and months and months and months of working on the engine and working together to get this car perfect and fully ready to go. So I get the car fully running. It's good to go. VTEC and everything's working. No check engine lights. Everything's running fine. Then the worst comes. I'm driving it all the time. I get it and I start daily driving it because I sold my motorcycle. So I start daily driving it and I'm like, this is what I want to do. The night that everything went down, I was just daily driving it. I think I had just installed a new radiator like the day before or something. And everything was good. It was running the best it's ever ran, running cool in the middle of the summer on hot days. It was running good. That night, I drove it to work. I get to work. Everything's fine. I had coolant, everything. I was checking my coolant, double checking my oil, got everything running good. I told one of my friends, hey, I got a GoPro. I got GoPro mounts on my car. I'll take some rollers of your car. No biggie, right? So we head out after work, and we are just headed north. I live south, so we head up north, and we're headed up the interstate getting videos, getting some rollers of his car, getting some sound clips, just being kids, having fun, doing what we want. And I wave to him goodbye, call him, tell him, I'm like, hey, I'll send you the videos, this and that. And I head back south after getting some gas, and everything's just normal, just cruising down the interstate, blasting music, having fun. Then the next thing you know, my whole entire car is lighting up underneath me. I was so confused. Then out of the transmission tunnel where my shifter is, everything just starts completely pouring out smoke. And I put two and two together real fast that my car's on fire and I need to get out. So I press the brakes, there's no brakes. I start panicking a little bit, like you go to do something and your solution doesn't work. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to jump out. And I'm going probably 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. It's slowing down, but you don't want to stay in the car while it's about to blow up. I'll put pictures on the screen of what the car looked like when I got out of it. Yes, it was completely on fire underneath, and it was so hot inside. That's all that I can really remember. But I ripped the e-brake, saw an exit, got off on the exit, and it started to slow down, and I grabbed my book bag and hopped out of the car. It really hit, whenever other car guys were pulling over. There's a 350Z, a Mustang. They pulled over, and we got far away from it, so we're not in harm's way. I called 911. I called my dad. I called my wife. And I was heartbroken. I was just standing there watching my hard work and everything burn away. I stood there watching the car that I was going to tell my kids about that me and their grandpa, my dad, built. It's hard. You're sitting here and questioning, why is this happening to me? But I'm not the kind of person to question why, God. I accept it for what it is and the circumstances that I'm given. I will always remember this car, but it's time to move on. It's time to stop looking back on it. Yes, I'll always have the memories, but I just need to remember them for the good memories, not the bad stuff. As I was standing there waiting for my dad and my wife to arrive, I didn't say a word. I just sat there and watched, as most car guys would. And I really appreciate those of you who sat and listened to my story, because I know it's not very important to 99% of the people around me, because they're like, oh, well, it's just a car. They're right. But just remember that, to me, it's not just a car, it's the memories. It's what it was. Thank you. Like and subscribe.